This installation was for a celebration for my aunt's 75th birthday. I did a couple of designs, but it also includes a column rack, which is the first time I've ever done this. And I think for the first time it came out pretty well. What you see me doing here is adding a couple of 260s to the actual column. This is so that I can attach the balloons to there. And I've actually created dupes, so sets of two for each of the balloons, all of them in the same color. And as you start to see, I'll be able to create a spiral design to them. Now, I've done 6 of these 260s based off of the column size. Yours may need to be adjusted accordingly. I'm using colors silver, teal, blue, and turquoise. So that's a total of 5, and it actually takes, or it's a total of 4, and it actually takes me 5 sets of balloons to go around. So I'll show you one of the flaws in this, and simply because of how the balloons were purchased, ran out of one color versus the other. But overall, I think it was a good design. So here you see me attaching them, and notice that I never leave the ground. I do not have to get on a ladder to move these. I can simply push them up to the height that they need to be, and I don't have to get on a ladder or let my feet leave the ground. So I think that's a win-win for me, especially since I'm afraid of ladders. I'm not afraid of heights, I'm afraid of ladders. So I continue on wrapping this, and I've actually created a little bit of a increase in grade. If you've noticed, I've picked up some balloons and set them back down and grabbed others, because I started to use some of the larger balloons as I got towards the bottom. So you just have a nice smooth widening effect for the column. This was a lot of work. I must say I am proud of my first display, and it can only get even better from here. Now I'm moving on to create the quads and clusters for my wall display that it will be added into this room, or into the dining room just in the back of me. So you can kind of see there will be another area where our family and friends can come and take pictures with the beautiful display. So I am starting to create my clusters and getting ready to attach the clusters together. You'll notice that I have 2 different ways that I'm creating the clusters, or not creating the clusters, but attaching the clusters. I'm going to be using the method of tying neck to neck, which is somewhat difficult depending on the quality of the balloons. Sometimes the necks aren't as stretchy, but I am able to do that with a couple of these here. And I'm just searching for identifying the color that I want to attach close to the silver. I think the blue goes very beautifully with that. My husband would say, those are the colors of the Cowboys. That wasn't on purpose, not for Cowboys, but it was for the decorations we're trying to do here. And as you'll see, I did take like 2 longest necks, and I tied them together. As I'm trying to show you here, it's not that easy to display when I'm showing it on my own, but there it is. You can see that. And so I will continue that method with a couple. However, when you're grabbing the necks, you're going to continuously grab in the center of your cluster. And so that's going to allow you to build straight up. But my intention here is not to have a vertical garland. I want it to kind of be wonky, if you will, and allow it to take on a shape of its own. So with that, once I'm done attaching using the necks, I'm going to graduate. I guess it's a graduation, or it's just a movement over to another technique to adding clusters together. And that's going to be using my 260s. And so here shortly you'll begin to see what that looks like. We've got the 260 here, and I'm squeezing out all of the air inside of it, and then I'm gonna hold tightly so I don't let any air back in because I want it to be as flat as possible. Basically, what I'm creating is a very large rubber band. So now that I can stretch this here, I'll be able to attach that right over one balloon in a cluster. And then I can find the other balloons that I want to attach to and simply hook it together there. Sometimes you want to use these balloons, if you will, and you want to attach it to more than just the two balloons if you want it to be very strong and secured. But like I said, I'm trying to create something different than just a straight. Oh, look, my fancy Jewel decided to help out with the balloons. She started to try to grab on to some of the 260s, but I caught her in the act, so that stopped all of her efforts. But welcome to the family, my newest member. That is Miss Francesca Jewel. All right, let's get back to work. Okay, so I'm going back and I'm grabbing some more clusters. I'm putting them all together, and I am continuing on to make my garland or my wall display. It's being put together very similar to doing a garland. However, I'm going to be just putting this on the wall here shortly. So in addition to the column wrap and the wall display, I also added a couple of balloons here and there on the windows. I did some on a staircase, which I completely forgot to take a picture of to show you guys, so I apologize for that. But here is the designs that we've done. Now it's time to move on to the fun stuff, putting the food together. I take no credit for any of this food that was prepared. It is absolutely wonderful. Oh my God, the flavors were hitting. They were hitting. And but what I did do is put them together in the different plates and displayed them so that you could really see how beautiful everything was before we started to eat. So now it's time to showcase. We've got sausage, we've got bacon, we've got breakfast potatoes, we've got scrambled eggs with cheese. Yes, this whole brunch is just really giving me everything. These chicken waffles, oh my God, with all of the strawberries and raspberries added there, it just really set everything off. Now I did do the charcuterie boards here that you see before you, and I've got one that's mostly cheese and sausage display. The other one is got some a little extra grapes and strawberries there that you can see. And we really just added some extras for folks. I myself am allergic to some fruit, so I wanted to have two that were separated. Overall, this is what we've done. And this is Alora's Balloons and Beyond. We did put that together, and we have Miss Valerie to thank for her amazing food. She did a wonderful job. I will be back.